very last session for UbiComp ISWC 2023. We are missing our general co-chair, Christoph. So Christoph, if you're somewhere there, you should really sit here. Welcome to our final closing session. So we are so excited to tell you a little bit more about what happened, to tell you, all the things that you have been experiencing, and to give you some interesting statistics of what you all have been able to do today. We have a few announcements that you're going to hear today, new things that are going to happen, and we are so thrilled also to introduce next year's conference at the end of today. So UbiComp ISWC 2023 comes to an end. We wanted to start our final, closing session by inviting all of our wonderful committee on stage because we want to recognize them. So please, if you're on this picture or if you forgot to, but I think everybody's here, please come to the stage. You all deserve an applause. Come on, organizing committee.
On the beach. Just came from the beach. It's a camera.
She's on the beach already. Yeah, she's going on the beach.
Go, go, go.
Thank you very much,
Thank
everybody.
you.
So not everybody's here, and again, everybody did a tremendous job to make this conference actually work. We want to also thank our sponsors, the National Science Foundation, Google, Intel, Microsoft Research. Thank you very much. We want to thank also Springer and Frontiers, as well as ACM, SIGCHI, and SIGMobile. Thank you. So our plan when we prepare for this UbiComp, which is really the first in-person in one location post-COVID UbiComp, we took a gamble. We thought we knew it was going to be a risk. We had no idea are people going to show up or not. As you know from the opening, we had roughly 550 people joining us, which is great. So thank you for all of you to come here and for many of you to stay until the very end. So thank you. Some things worked as we planned. We made a lot of adjustments on the fly, little things that happen here and there. If you have time tonight, find us for beers, and we can tell you a lot of things that happen that you don't know. But the good thing is that you don't know, so we were able to actually make them work. So anyway, we were able, I think, to successfully get you through a 3+2 days conferences, so thank you. So one of the questions that we ask everybody is, did you like UbiComp? And I want to stress that we had 3 answers. Yes, I liked. No, I didn't like it. And a neutral question. And we are very proud and happy to say that we had 0 people that said, I didn't like it. So thank you. We do have to work on that 12%, but it's not statistically significant, so I think it's okay. Okay, so we had a lot of engagement throughout the conference. So these are some data that our app gave us, Huva, that most of you used. So we had 5 main sponsors, and for the ones here from those companies, you can report back to your companies that we have 377,000 impressions of the sponsors through the app, plus whatever you see here. So it is worth to sponsors UbiComp, and please keep doing it. I wanted to stress, I think someone in the town hall today said that our website, it was Christoph, has a lot of content, so we want actually to take a look at it. So we have 152,863 words on our webpage, and if you really want to consume all the content, it will take 10 hours and 11 minutes. So this is a lot from us, but most of it is from you. So congratulations for putting together so much content. So one of the things that we have discussed at length, and we want to thank you, our program chairs, technical program chairs, is that what you have seen here was quite of a different way of handling the program, doing presentation, asking questions. So also here we made a bet. We really wanted to have more interactivity, give you a different experience, and we think it worked. We heard in our town hall that there are a few things that can be improved and increased and change, and hopefully we can steer next year's conference a little bit in that direction, but most of you liked that. So we knew we wanted to have a cross-cutting, unified discussion across the whole community. We have 3 tracks to present a very, very ambitious program, and we think it did work. It gave people enough time, it gave people focus, and it was not impossible conference to navigate. So most of you, again, enjoyed the format from the conference. So if you were at the town hall, we updated this data with the latest answers from the Hoover polls. And most of you liked the paper format and the length. We heard some discussion about how we could make maybe adjustments to the length of the paper, of the presentations. And again, we will work on it with next year's chairs. But overall, we are pretty happy. You are pretty happy. So we're going to celebrate together tonight. We introduced, as we mentioned, a number of different JEDI, Justice, Equity, Diversity, Inclusion initiatives. You see some pictures here of our sensory rooms on the left and our family room on the right. We had a lot of people using it, and I was very glad to see that when there were no kids in the family room, there were a lot of adults. So that was interesting. So we asked you how important it is to have this room, and I'm thinking that a lot of people that didn't use it still feel like it is important to have. So I think as a community, this is the right thing to do. We got a lot of feedback from SICAI, from ACM, that they want to keep supporting these kind of initiatives, and I'm happy that this worked out. So thank you for agreeing with us. And we wanted to give you a couple of highlights of what happened during the conference. We had a total of 7 invited speakers and 32 awards that we gave up yesterday during the gala reception. We had 13 hours and 50 minutes of reading time and 179,639 words that went into our sessions. Is that right? So again, a lot of content, a lot of written content, a lot of presented content. And again, this is all of you. So thank you for allowing us to produce really your content in this conference. I'm going to now hand it over to Monica, who's going to talk to you about what did we talk about.
So for the academic discussions that we have, so we calculated for all the captioning that you guys were reading throughout these days, the frequency-based topic modeling of all captions of those talks we recorded for all sessions of the days. And I would like to thank Yvonne Monarca, who was our video chair and did an amazing job on this. And it's very interesting if you look at this word clouds. So for the first day, it seems that we gravitated more towards to discussing issues centering around people and user, but also technical aspects about modeling, user, and data, of course. For the second day of this conference, we focus more in data and more like the machine learning and sensors aspects about UbiComp. As you can see, more about training and accuracy and recognition systems. So we focus most on that part. And for the last day, it seems that we focus more on issues related to system. More like, of course, data is there, but also participants, privacy challenges around development of the systems and design of the system. Another highlight that we have in our program was, of course, the welcome reception and the beach party. So it was super nice to see that in the welcome reception, a lot of you were engaging. I feel like it was a full reception. Most of you were there, were engaged in the demos and the posters and the design exhibits, and we will thank you of that. And the beach party, of course, we do have photos, but I would like to remember that what happens in Cancun stays in Cancun. So we learned yesterday about the Mayan culture, and we got blessed, or a Mexican traditional blessing, and we learned about the circles and the feather and you know, like our traditions in Mexico. But we also had a chance to give away all these awards, and you can see Sylvia here, and have time in the beach, no shoes allowed, and enjoy the party. And finally, you know, as a summary, we put together all this data that we had, or we collected throughout these 3 days, and it seems that, of course, we gravitated more towards discussing issues related to data, sensor, modeling, and also performance and training. So a lot of things, although this UbiComp especially, we bet on experiences, and I think our community now know the importance of getting together in physical and to discuss each other, but we also engage in digital content and digital communication through Huba. So the social interaction we had through Huba included messages that we share between each other, and I'm glad to share with you that the attendee that were most engaged in Huba, of course, 12 attendees from Georgia Tech, but also 11 individuals from ISWC and Cornell University. And so that shows, you know, the importance of doing this conference here in Mexico and Latin America for the first time. And I'm happy to say that Mexicans are delivering and ISWC is delivering, and I'm happy to see that you guys are in the second most of the institutions that engaged. Also, people from Tsinghua University and Carnegie Mellon, of course. The most active attendees include Qian Su, David Wan, and Bo Su, Yoshiro Kawahara, and Hamin Cheng. In terms of even app usage, we have a lot of active users, 479, and engagement, we share 115 photos, and a lot of individuals spend time seeing profile views, which means for me that they are getting to know the individuals and the researchers on the community. Networking also led us to 5 meetups created and also exchange a business card and private messages. In terms of highlights for community agenda networking, I'm glad to report that we discussed around 46 discussion topics, and you guys have ride close to 28 rides to the airport, and a lot of messages, close to 1,000 messages on these topics that you wanted to highlight. From those channels that we discussed, it was very interesting for us to see that were those very particular. One, that it was hashtag en español, and the other one that it says hashtag something in Chinese. So this shows you the importance of needing, you know, the discussion in your language and, you know, to feel close to people that comes from your country, I guess. From the agenda highlights, we had more than 10,000 app reviews and 4 private meetings. And networking, like I said, already presented this data, so close to 2,081 private messages and so on. So this clearly shows that WUBA supports in digital communication, but also supports in-person and face-to-face time interactions. I'm happy to report that the most followed discussions silver included job openings. I think we had 17 posts of job openings, which is really, really nice. And we have very interesting channels, including first-timers to UbiComp and those more related to specific topics like VR, haptic tools, and so on, and healthcare, of course. In the leaderboard, I'm happy to report that most of the students out there are from Mexico and Latin America, including 1 local student in the 3rd place and 2 students from CCC. So good job. And now I will give you my co-chair, Christoph.
All right, thanks, Monica. So slightly in the background, there are 2 groups of people that make sure that this conference is continuing from year to year in these interesting times that we're living in. And UbiComp and ISWC usually have to adapt from time to time. And part of this is the steering committee. It's a construct of a group of people that for both UbiComp and ISWC make sure that there's continuity and there keep on coming bids for conferences in the next coming of years. And what happened is that the time of Rob Harl, who was the steering committee chairman, was running out. So basically, this post was up for re-election. And what was discussed in the steering committee meeting for UbiComp was that this post was not a one-man's job, or should not be, at least. Rob took over from Koji, and both of them did extremely, extremely good work. But the conference has grown so big that this is now really worth of a group of people. And because of that, during the steering committee meeting, these 2 people were voted to take on the job of leading the steering committee. So Anand Day, as senior advisor, leading also together with Edison Thomas as steering committee chair. So round of applause for both Harl, who's coming up, and the new kids. Right, and this now leads to what is coming up next. So in the next couple of slides, we will reveal where UbiComp ISWC is going to happen next year. And this is already a teaser for the year after. So for 2025 and 26, we are going to accept bids very soon, or we are already. And we would like to hear if you have any ideas of where this could happen. Of course, there are certain things to look at, for instance, geographically where this will take place, but we're very interested in hearing what your ideas are. Right, now, there is also one new thing that both steering committees decide upon, and this is the leading part is, or the leading person that took handle of this is Paul Lukovic. There is this little bit of a gap between the work that is put in the adjunct proceedings in the past couple of decades. Has typically been the workshops that were presented of UbiComp, the posters, the demos, and all the other tracks that meanwhile have popped up, as well as the IMWOOD papers on the other side. There's a little bit of a gap between that for shorter work. Something like 4-page papers that are rigorously reviewed by a committee and that from year to year kind of is handled. This is already the case in ISWC, and what we decided is that this could be already a very promising direction also for UbiComp work, so that instead of having to go for a full article in IMWOOD, we can go for shorter work and submit this to a brief paper or short paper formats. And this is what Paul Lukovic has agreed to kickstart, and this process is currently underway. So thank you very much, Paul. Is he here? Yeah. There he is. So thank you very much, Paul.
idea is that if you are interested in participating in that process, right? So we're looking for people who would volunteer to be part of the program committee. You know, we're still looking for also program committee chair and to engage. Please write me an email and let's try to organize that as something new for next year UbiComp. So please volunteer. We need you to participate.
Right. So those are the exciting things that have been decided during the past couple of days in the technical committee meetings. So now is the time when we reveal where UbiComp is Week will happen next year. So I would like for the organizers to come forward, and this should give you already a hint. And they will reveal where it will be held.
This must be about the worst kept secret that I can imagine. I'm wearing my First Nations dress, and UbiComp ISWC next year will be in Melbourne, Australia. Now, I'm from Sydney, so I do know Melbourne a bit, but you know, I'm sure all those koalas and kangaroos are just up the road from the conference centre, so it'll be lots of fun. I will hand over now to
Yes, so our web chair is already busy at work. So we have our website up. It's a very sort of familiar interface and a familiar address. Oh, sorry. And we already have some sort of organisers throughout as well. So a lot of you actually continue to stay on to continue with your role. So we greatly appreciate the value of feedback there as well. But we're also looking for more volunteers. So please send us an email if you're interested in participating. And looking forward to seeing you in Melbourne.
So this concludes our final panel. So I wanted to thank all of you. I wanted to thank our local organizer, Intermeeting, that made this really happen. I want to thank the AV team that has been fantastic. I want to thank the Cancun Center that hosted us here. And I want to thank again all of you. We want to thank all of you for making UbiComp happen, really. And we'll see you next year in Australia. Thank you.
Bye, thank you. You're free to go. Oh.
Shall we take a bow?
We can take a bow.
All right.
Thank you, guys. Bye.
You can go. Beach is waiting for you.